has known T and Tamara for always having long, beautiful hair. So this was like the first chop that she's ever went for. And it was documented on television, and I'm doing it. And all of my family and friends are calling me like, girl, we saw hair!
It was a big moment.
It was a huge moment. It was a very grateful and great grounding and humbling moment as well.
On this episode of Behind the Glam, we sit down with celebrity hairstylist Karim Odoms, or better known as the Zhuzh Master. We talk about his career path, his passion and inspirations, his spirituality, and what really drives him. We'll also have the pleasure of seeing him in action as we make over our beautiful model, Lorea. Stay tuned. So excited to be here today to talk to celebrity hairstylist Karim Odoms.
So excited.
The hair guru, the Zhuzh Master. Now tell everyone why you refer to yourself as the Zhuzh Master, and what is Zhuzh?
Je suis le Zhuzh Master. I am the Zhuzh Master. Zhuzh originated, it's a term that we use in the hair world and the beauty world as far as, zhuzh your hair up real quick. And one day I was like, I love that word. And I took it and kind of made it my own. Zhuzh is a lifestyle. Zhuzh is the essence, it's the aura. My zhuzh is the artistry of my soul.
You have an impeccable personal style. How do you define it?
It's a very Parisian chic, red carpet ready at all times with a mix of grunge, like a grungy zhuzh, a little effortlessly undone.
I love it. So you grew up in Philly. Tell us about your upbringing and how growing up in Philly influenced where you are today.
I grew up with fabulous women. My mother was a singer, entertainer, and also a model. So, fashion, glamour, beauty was always within my eyesight.
So when did you get the bug, like you knew this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing?
As far back as I can remember, I remember being a little boy and just being in such admiration and awe of my mother and my family. They would have card parties and everyone would come over, and my father would be in his double-breasted suits with his Stan Smith, very classic. My uncle would come with his leather jacket with fur draped around. It was a lot.
So you got your grounds at home, started at home. Then you became the neighborhood hairdresser, right?
The neighborhood hairdresser at 14 years old. I'll never forget Salt and Pepper shoot, and all that video was out. This is when Salt and Pepper was doing the finger waves with the pin curls, and I started with the finger waves, and I transitioned into like weaves. Living Single Queen Latifah would give you crimps and all that beautiful hair, and one day I sat down and just did my mother, and it was voila.
So then you decided, I'm gonna go to beauty school. So you went on to beauty school, and tell us a little bit about that.
I did. I went to beauty school when I graduated high school. However, I did not finish beauty school. I left because I was going through my transition of coming out the closet. I want you to know at one point I was not always as confident as being the hairstylist that I am. Because of my sexuality, I didn't want people to know that I did hair. So I would be doing people's hair in the neighborhood and would be like, girl, you better not tell nobody I did your hair.
Right.
But I mean, after a while, it just continued to go on, and I didn't go back to school to get my license until I was about 27. But during that time, I was still zhuzhing everyone up in the neighborhood. And thankfully, I had a boss that believed in me, and she said, I'm gonna allow you to work in my salon, but you have to promise me that you'll go back to school and get your license. So that's how that happened.
So you left Philly, you moved to New York, and tell us about that.
Big Apple, hit it to the Big Apple. I love the whole energy of New York. And it's funny because it always takes, sometimes it takes a rough experience for you to kind of like get back on your path. And it took a very hard breakup. And after that moment, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? So I enrolled at the Aveda Institute in Soho. And that was an experience that absolutely changed my life. And through that, I saw one of my mentors, someone that I had looked up to, Ted Gibson. And I'll never forget watching Ted Gibson and seeing him in the InStyle magazine, Angelina Jolie, one of my babes. And I saw this black man doing this woman hair, and I was like, that's exactly what I want to do.
Right.
So it was from there, that moment, that's when I knew.
And then you moved to LA. Tell us about that transition.
Before LA, I moved to Atlanta.
Oh,
I was in Atlanta for a year, and I had to go back and enroll in school, and that was kind of a shock to me because I thought like I'm ready. I done went to school already. I did this.
Right.
However, the hours are different in Atlanta, so I went back to school for another year to get my license in Atlanta. And from Atlanta, I worked on a show with Lori and Gibson, Born to Dance. And 2 months after the show wrapped, being around the cameras and the lights and just just seeing that whole creative process and what my gift contributed to that was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I moved to LA.
Okay.
Shipped all my things to LA, did a job in Toronto with L'Oreal and Lady Gaga, and from Toronto moved straight to LA.
Right. And then you had this moment. You were hiking Runyon Canyon and?
I was hiking Runyon Canyon and I met a wonderful makeup artist by the name of DeAndre Michael. And we were just talking about the business. We were just talking about, just the in and outs, the ups and downs of the business. And 2 days later, we exchanged information. 2 days later, I get a phone call and he's like, hey, would you be available to do Tia Mowry's hair? I'm like, of course. And it was just, I went to do Tia's hair for a taping, a segment of the Tia and Tamara reality show, and we were rocking ever since.
You had a big moment on the show where you did this amazing cut that it blew me away. And I hadn't even met you at that moment, but remember when I met you, I told you that stood out to me. What was that moment like? Because it was certainly a departure for her, but also like a really big moment skill-wise for you, like the world saw you at work.
Everyone has known Tia and Tamara for always having long, beautiful hair. So this was like the first chop that she's ever went for. And it was documented on television, and I'm doing it. And all of my family and friends are calling me like, girl, we saw hair!
It was a big moment.
It was a huge moment. It was a very grateful and great grounding and humbling moment as well.
The Glam Squad, I know we're the hardest working people in the business. How do you balance working so hard and giving so much of yourself? How do you balance that in your own life?
It takes meditation, plenty of massages, lots of champagne. No, honestly, I have to say it takes always remembering where I come from, always remembering who and whose I am. Always remembering a lot of the lessons and everything that I went through in my life to get to where I am. I have to say I'm faithfully a churchgoer. My spiritual community has kept me grounded. The first week of me being in LA, I was in church that very first Sunday, and it's been that same way ever since. And I really do credit a lot of that as my foundation in my career and my everyday life. And in tune and in touch with myself. That's where a lot of my zhuzh stems from.
Well, you have a tremendous future ahead of you. What do you think your legacy will be?
Just giving good zhuzh. Non-stop, consistently. Non-stop good zhuzh, whether it was hair, style, fashion, my heart, my love, my kindness, my support, my inspiration, because this business can be very competitive, but I enjoy seeing my peers, my colleagues slay just as much. Because at the end of the day, teamwork truly does make the dream work.
Speaking of slay,
ooh la la.
I know I and our fabulous audience wants to see you at work. So we have a model who's ready for you to slay her, and we can't wait to see that all those amazing techniques come to life. So let's do it.
Ooh la la, avec with pleasure. So you're here with the Zhuzh Master, and you're also here with my fabulous model, Lorea. And right now what I'm doing is we're going to do a red carpet look, and then also she has a date later on. So how do we transition from red carpet to date night?
Karim created a fun chic updo. He left a little out to frame the face and some loose pieces on the side. He took each side, making a twist which meets in the middle. To make the ponytail, he used a hair elastic and then wrapped around for a low bun. Finished with L'Oreal Elnet hairspray and Oribe shine spray. And voila! Let me just say, I love your wine glasses. It's so reminiscent of you. It's fabulous. So I'm inspired by you. I think you're phenomenal since the day that I met you, and everything that you do, everyone that you touch, is truly blessed because of you. So cheers to your continued success.
Cheers and ditto, because life is nothing but a mirror, and the beauty and all of that is you're just a reflection of that. So thank you,
Thank
for
you.
sharing your light, love.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.